Ever cracked an egg for breakfast and just stared at it for a second, wondering how a chicken can pop one of these out almost every single day? It seems almost magical, doesn't it? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on one of nature's most incredible production lines, the hen's body. How do they do it? Let's get cracking and find out. To understand this daily miracle, we need to take a look inside the hen. Imagine a tiny, super-efficient factory. It all starts in the hen's ovary. Unlike humans who have two, most hens only have one functional ovary, usually the left one. This ovary looks like a tiny bunch of grapes. Each one of those grapes is a yolk at a different stage of development. When a hen reaches maturity, her body gets a signal to start releasing these yolks one by one. Once a yolk is fully developed and released from the ovary, it begins an incredible journey down a long, winding tube called the oviduct. This trip takes about 24 to 26 hours, and it's where all the magic happens. The first stop is a section where the albumin, or the egg white, is added in layers around the yolk. This part of the journey takes about 3 hours. The egg white is mostly protein and water, designed to cushion and protect the yolk. Next, the developing egg moves into another section where the two thin, paper-like shell membranes are formed. These membranes are crucial. They help protect the egg from bacteria getting inside. This step takes a little over an hour. Finally, the egg arrives at the most time-consuming part of its journey, the shell gland, also known as the uterus. The egg will spend about 20 hours here. This is where the hard calcium carbonate shell is meticulously deposited around the egg. Think of it as a 3D printer, but for eggshells. The hen's body pulls a massive amount of calcium from her bones and her diet to create this protective outer layer. It's an incredibly demanding process. This is also where the shell gets its color, whether it's white, brown, blue, or green, depending on the breed of the hen. Once the shell is complete, the hen lays the egg. And believe it or not, about 30 minutes to an hour after laying, her body is already releasing the next yolk to start the whole process all over again. It's a relentless, nearly non-stop cycle. Now, a common question that comes up is, does a hen need a rooster to lay an egg? The answer is a firm no. Hens will lay eggs regardless of whether a rooster is around. It's very similar to the human menstrual cycle. A hen's body is programmed to release an egg or an ovum on a regular schedule. If a rooster is present and they mate, the egg can be fertilized, and if incubated, it could develop into a chick. But if there's no rooster, the hen still lays the egg. It's just an unfertilized egg, which is what we buy at the grocery store. So no, you're not eating a potential baby chick with your morning toast. If hens are laying all these eggs, why don't we see them all sitting on nests trying to hatch them? This instinct is called going broody. A broody hen will stop laying, puff up her feathers, get a bit grumpy, and sit diligently on a clutch of eggs, hoping they'll hatch. However, for commercial egg production, this is not a desirable trait. A hen that's sitting isn't laying, and that means less product. So, through centuries of selective breeding, this broody instinct has been largely bred out of many modern egg-laying breeds, like leghorns and sex-links. They've been genetically fine-tuned to be laying machines, not mothers. Some heritage or dual-purpose breeds still have strong, broody instincts, but the hens laying your store-bought eggs are unlikely to ever feel that urge. So what's the trigger that keeps this egg factory running day in and day out? The biggest factor is light. A hen's reproductive cycle is stimulated by daylight. Specifically, her pituitary gland is activated by light, which in turn releases hormones that tell her ovary to start developing and releasing yolks. To maximize egg production, commercial egg farms use artificial lighting to simulate long summer days. Hens need about 14 to 16 hours of light per day to maintain peak production. This tricks their bodies into thinking it's the ideal time to be laying eggs, which in the wild would be spring and summer when there's plenty of food available for raising chicks. This is why backyard chicken keepers often see a drop in egg production during the shorter, darker days of winter unless they supplement with artificial light. Laying an egg every day takes a huge toll on a hen's body. It's an enormous metabolic and physical cost. Think about it. She has to create a nutrient-packed yolk, protein-rich whites, and a calcium-heavy shell from the food she eats and the reserves in her own body. A hen will mobilize up to 10% of the total calcium from her own bones to form a single eggshell. That's why a high-quality, balanced diet is absolutely critical for laying hens. They need plenty of protein, vitamins, and especially calcium to sustain this level of production without compromising their own health. It's a physically demanding job, and it's a testament to their incredible biology that they can keep it up. It's also important to remember that the chickens we see today are vastly different from their wild ancestors. The wild red jungle fowl, which is the ancestor of all domestic chickens, lays only about 10 to 15 eggs a year, usually in 1 or 2 clutches during the breeding season. That's it. Over thousands of years, humans have selectively bred chickens for specific traits. We wanted chickens that grew bigger, were more docile, and, of course, laid more eggs. We selected the hens that laid the most eggs and bred them, and then bred their most productive offspring, and so on. This centuries-long process of artificial selection has resulted in the modern laying hen, a biological marvel that can lay over 300 eggs a year. We have essentially hacked their biology to turn a seasonal reproductive cycle into a year-round production powerhouse. But this intense production can't last forever. Even the most prolific hen will eventually slow down. Several factors can cause a hen to take a break from laying. Age is a big one. A hen's peak production is usually in her first year of laying. After that, the number of eggs she lays each year will gradually decrease. Stress is another major factor. Anything that upsets a hen's routine, like a predator scare, moving to a new coop, extreme heat or cold, or changes in the flock can cause her to temporarily stop laying. Her body essentially says, conditions aren't safe or stable right now. Let's shut down the non-essential egg factory. Another natural process that stops egg production is molting. Once a year, usually in the fall, chickens lose their old, worn-out feathers and grow a new set. This is an incredibly energy-intensive process. Growing thousands of new feathers requires a lot of protein and energy, so the hen's body diverts resources away from egg laying to focus on regrowing her plumage. It's a necessary rest and recovery period that allows her to rebuild her nutrient reserves before starting to lay again. So, the next time you hold an egg in your hand, take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey it took. It's not just a simple breakfast food. It's the end product of a complex, high-speed, and resource-intensive biological factory. From the timed release of a yolk, to the intricate layering of whites and membranes, to the demanding formation of a calcium shell, all orchestrated by hormones and light, it's a daily feat of nature enhanced and pushed to its limits by human ingenuity. It really gives you a whole new respect for the humble hen. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this journey into the world of egg laying fascinating, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into the amazing world around us. See you next time.